You ever wonder how, say, your favorite online store seems to know exactly what you want to buy next? Or how your bank can just, poof, pull up your statement in like half a second? Well, the answer is this hidden engine that's running pretty much our entire digital world, the database. And today, we're going to pop the hood and see how it works.
So let's start with a little puzzle. What on earth could your online shopping cart possibly have in common with a massive industrial warehouse? I mean, they seem totally different, right? Well, the answer connects your everyday clicks to these huge, powerful systems that run everything. And the connection, it's surprisingly simple, but it's also kind of brilliant. Let's dig in.
Okay, so to solve that puzzle, we've got to start with a problem that basically every single modern company is dealing with right now. They are literally drowning in data. I mean, every click, every single sale, every little customer interaction, it all creates this tidal wave of digital noise. And honestly, it's just chaos.
And see, here's the thing. On its own, all that data, it's just noise. It's like this giant, disorganized pile of numbers and words. Sure, it might tell a business that something happened, but it doesn't explain what it all means or, why anyone should care. It's not valuable yet. You can't do anything with it.
So, the first big, crucial step is to somehow turn that raw data into useful information. Think about it like this. It's the difference between having a random pile of bricks just sitting there and having a blueprint that shows you how to build a house. You're taking that chaos and you're giving it purpose, giving it structure.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you tame all that digital chaos and build something useful out of it? Well, this brings us to the solution, and it's the answer to our little puzzle from the beginning. It's the database. This is the digital warehouse that's going to bring order to that flood of data. The best way to get your head around a database is to just forget about all the complicated code for a second. Seriously, just picture a perfect, super organized warehouse, where every single item has its own special spot, it's got a clear label, and there's a system to find it in an instant. That, right there, is basically a database. It's a digital warehouse for all your information. And this digital warehouse, it is a huge upgrade from just, keeping a bunch of lists and spreadsheets. A spreadsheet is kind of like a messy back room at a store. You've got these separate lists, but nothing's really connected. But a modern relational database, that's the smart warehouse. Everything is interconnected. It means you can instantly see a product and see who bought it and see their shipping address all at once, because the whole system understands how all those pieces of information relate to each other. It's a game changer. All right, so what's actually in this digital warehouse? Let's go inside, pop the hood, and take a look at the four main tools that basically every analyst uses to wrangle all this information. First up, you've got tables. Just think of these as the actual shelves and bins in our warehouse. They hold all the data, nice and neat, and an organized grid of rows and columns. A row is like one complete item, say all the info for a single customer. And a column is just one specific piece of that info, like just their first name or just their city. But here's where the real magic happens. It's something called a primary key. The best way to think about it is like a unique barcode for every single row. In this example, it's the employee ID. This little number is so important because it guarantees that no two records are ever identical. But even more than that, it's the secret sauce that lets us link information from one table to another. Okay, next up, we've got queries. So if the tables are the shelves, a query is like your own personal super smart warehouse robot. You don't have to wander around the aisles looking for stuff yourself. Nope. You just give the robot a very specific request, like a pick list, and it zips off and brings back exactly what you asked for, and nothing else. And you can get so specific. A query isn't just, hey, show me sales. It's more like, show me all sales of this specific product in that one region during the last quarter that were over $1,000. See? That's how you turn millions and millions of data points into one single, precise answer that you can actually use. Then there are forms. Forms are basically those clean, easy-to-use screens that act like a gatekeeper for the warehouse. I mean, anytime you enter your shipping info on a website, you're using a form. It's a simple way to put data in or look data up without ever having to see the giant, complicated tables that are doing all the work in the background. And last but not least, reports. So after your little robot has gone and fetched all the right info, a report is what packages it all up for delivery. This isn't just a raw list of numbers. No. It's a polished, formatted summary that's designed for humans to actually understand. We're talking charts, graphs, totals, the whole shebang. It's everything a manager needs to make a decision, all wrapped up and ready for the big meeting.
Okay, so we've seen all the tools in the toolbox. Now let's put them to work. Let's follow a data analyst on a real-world mission and see how all these pieces actually come together to create some real value for a business. So, meet John. John's a data analyst at a big company, we'll call it WorldCorp, and his boss just gave him a mission. He needs to dig into the sales trends for a new product and figure out, where they can do better. And his number one tool for the job? You guessed it, the company's massive data warehouse. So, John gets right to it. First, he has to formally request the right chunk of data from the main warehouse. Then, once he gets it, he uses his tools to clean it up and get it ready for analysis. And now the real work begins. He starts running queries, slicing and dicing the data, just looking for patterns. And bingo! He finds a couple of regions that are really underperforming, and he even spots a totally new marketing opportunity they hadn't thought of. So he takes all these findings and uses that report tool to wrap it all up in a clear summary for his boss. But look, John's work isn't just some, homework assignment. What happens after he delivers that report? That's why this all matters so much. This whole process from start to finish is the engine that drives pretty much every modern business decision. Because of what John found, the leaders at WorldCorp don't have to rely on just gut feelings or what they think is happening. They can make real strategic decisions, like shifting the marketing budget or changing up their product strategy, all based on actual, hard evidence. They're finally acting on information, not just a pile of raw data. And this is all possible just because that organized digital warehouse, that relational database, is built for this exact job. It makes sure the data is accurate, it keeps it secure, but it's also flexible and fast. It lets a business change and grow without the whole system falling apart. When you get right down to it, it all boils down to this one powerful idea. The whole point isn't just to store data. The goal is to build a system where the information inside is accessible, organized, and, most importantly, actionable. That's the whole point of a great database. And that brings us right back around to you. Because the same process that John just went through, it's happening all around you every single day. Every time you shop online, or stream a show, or use an app on your phone, you are feeding a database. So the final question to leave you with isn't really about big companies at all. It's about you. Who's the John that's analyzing your data, and what decisions are they making?